clouds darken, lightning strikes, thunder off in the distance, and we begin with a screech. You glance around, and the only thing that you can look at, or the only thing that really draws your attention, is this massive carriage in the sky being drawn and whipped by this undead creature. Its face emaciated, its eyes covered with spectacles and a top hat. And the creature laughs maniacally at all of you, bombing this terrain in front of you and turning it into what you see now, which is this desolate, swampy, corrupted forest. There are souls of not only people, but also animals that are raising this wood and steel monstrosity up off of the ground. It's riding on the souls of the dead.
Your watchers will not save you from me. And soon, all of Lost Camelin will be mine, and Grimora and I will rule the North.
There was a skeleton man in your dream, right?
No, that's Negrog.
Is that him?
It's him.
An ancient carved flat piece of mammoth tusk presents itself to you half buried in a wall. I'm going to say the wall of the Ursaka house. How did it get there? What does it do? Give it a throw and find out.
I want to take this Jeremy tusk.
By the power of the gods, please let this work.
You pull this thing out, kind of do one of those, and then you whip it at him, and it goes right past him and keeps sailing off.
Oh, Dragonborn, would you like a ticket home? I've got one for you. Do you even care about any of this?
Otto whips his head around like an owl does to see where Olivar is.
He's there.
It's not far. It's right
Okay.
behind you.
Yeah.
You have to make yourself safe.
Should we run?
Ursoon runs over to Grenlick, rages.
We must leave, quickly.
All of us?
Well, those who cannot fight must go.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Grab Freda and go.
All three of you see Olivar, Freda, most of the Ramhidi, and a couple Ursaka sneaking out the back and going deeper, and by deeper, I mean out of the dark woods, back the way you originally came.
Stormborn! Ha ha! What a joke!
A bunch of little metallic balls kind of clang, 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 as it comes by, opening up and spitting some spores into the air.
Okay, I would like to shoot my magic arrow.
As that arrow goes sailing and lands, you can see it sort of stick in one of the soul's eyes, one of the skeletal riders. And
A big mammoth tusk scythe slashes right into this. I guess the front of the carriage.
He rushing, drawing rapier, so stabbing up at it. Bonus action, my echo is right next to me. It's going to disappear with Unleash Incarnation. It takes a stab at Skelly Boy.
Killing me will do you no good. You don't think I've planned for that?
How does the carriage look?
At this point, it's falling apart.
Okay, we've done a lot of damage.
Yeah, there are very few souls that seem to be remaining. The Nagrok with his top hat, monocle, and his beautiful bluish silver robes that he seems to be wearing, doesn't appear to be hurt or upset at all.
I want to tell you a secret. Cristobal is lying to you. You don't think those souls are power? Who's getting that power? Do you even know?
What does that mean? I don't like that at all.
You're the worst gossip ever!
Cristobal has the mirror in his hand. He is going to step towards the carriage, and he is going to swipe the mirror through whatever spirits he can reach.
Yep.
And while he says loudly, just because you fear what is beyond does not mean you should lie to my friends. And then I'm swiping my mirror through as many spirits as I can reach.
As you swipe that mirror, all of the souls begin to shake and shudder, and you see their faces kind of go wide, and they begin to be pulled into that mirror, one by one. And as each one enters that mirror, you can feel your constitution reduce. Your body gets weaker. You have permanently lost 1 constitution, but the cage, the steel cage, falls to the ground with a clang, 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 as all of the remaining souls are sucked into the mirror. Each of the spears falling and sort of just scattering around on the ground where it fell to the ground, 30 feet in the air, boom. This Iron Maiden rolls, and creaks open.
Hundreds of dead sparrows spill out onto the ground in all directions when the carriage collapses. Hundreds. To the point to where it looks like 3 or 4 flocks of sparrows are all just dead and spread out across the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a desiccated man wearing a top hat and a monocle rises up.
Oh, poor cleric can't talk to daddy.
So she falls to her knees and starts to very sadly gently scoop and roll the sparrow corpses towards her, and she starts to weep.
Okay.
Yeah, Grog goes,
Yes! Yes! Yes!
What the hell are you?
Your doom!
At that point, all 3 Ursaka charge.
Oh, how cute teddy bears!
and he holds his hands high, and bits and pieces of bark, the corrupted detritus that's everywhere begin to skunk, until his entire body seems to be transformed into this husk of spore protection.
Spirits manifest, and they begin to slowly hover forward towards all of you.
Help us!
Moaning.
Ooh.
Help us! Help me!
These spirits look like a friend. They look like maybe a Ramhidi child that you had a moment with. They look like an Ursaka that was, tending to a tree when you first arrived. They even, some of them even look like people from your past, from your memories.
We're losing this battle. We should retreat.
And they turn around and look at him as if they've never heard him say that word before, ever.
You fester and you wither and you refuse to acknowledge that your soul should progress to the next plane. And then I'm going to cast Magic Missile using the mirror to channel the power into that spell.
The mirror is shaking violently, reverberating in your hand with all of the energy that it has absorbed. Now remember, the mirror has the capability of channeling as well as sending people to another place. So all of you see the mask appear on Cristobal's face when he's marching forward, and he holds out the mirror. And as he casts the magic missiles, which are normally handkerchiefs, you see souls come out of the mirror, pass through his hand, and at the creature standing in front of him.
The very souls you enslaved will be the ones who send you to the next life.
Remora! Help me!
Screaming out of the woods comes these skeletal creatures, either mounted.
Oh, great.
It just gets worse.
Or they have 4 arms.
Choices.
Or they're floating up off the ground, screaming and howling.
Ichor begins to pour out of the trees onto the ground. This black, oily substance starts to fill and spread from the trees as these undead essentially crack themselves out of the tree and begin coming after you.
Seeing like the black ichor of the tree, I would like to dig.
Once you get past the topsoil layer, you notice that the soil down there is not contaminated. So not only do you feel the skull lighting up in your pack or wherever you have it stowed away, but you can also sense for a moment that there's a connection between this tree, the ground, the trees all around you, the people standing on the soil, and for the briefest of moments, you even sense a connection between this tree and this spectral creature floating in front of you.
I want to dig until I find roots that are touching fertile soil.
Puts their hand on the root and says, Bahatha, by fang and claw, by wind and wing, hear me. By fleet and fight, make it right. Hunolo, your children call, your will be done.
You hear it at first. A winged figure, large bat-like wings, a head that looks like an owl, and a body that is an amalgamation of a series of animals. Hunolo comes sailing down, and he lands exactly in front of your hole. It looks down in the hole at you and says, I have answered your call, and I have come to give you all the will of Bahatha. And he opens up his wings, and as he does so, he bursts apart, and animals go running off in all directions.
Whoa.
Each one of these animals run towards one of these undead creatures, and they burst apart. So the skeleton bursts apart. The dwarf, astral dwarf, ghoul bursts apart. Yeah, go ahead. The spirits burst apart until there's nothing on the battlefield but you, the Ursaka warriors, and Nagrok. And the last thing you see as his spirit fades is him look down at you and say, you must lead them.
Otto is overwhelmed, and so overwhelmed, is thinking about Hunolo and what he said, or what they said, and is going to run towards Nagrok.
Otto, what are you doing?
Otto takes out the skull and is holding it. I'm just holding it. Yep. And I steel myself, and with every ounce of bravery that Otto has in his body, he looks at Nagrok and says, Grimora has abandoned you. You are alone. You are surrounded. You have a choice. Return to the earth. You are a part of the earth. You are not this. You are not what they made of you.
No! No! Get that away from me or give it to me, one of the two.
And he pulls from his where he touched, he pulls what looks like a rib, just a desiccated, dried, and shriveled rib, and he holds it high and he says,
I'll see you soon!
And he cracks it and disappears, dropping both pieces of the bone on the ground on the feet in front of him. Otto, in front of you, this broken bone seems to shudder a bit, and you see it snap back together. And then it starts to float closer to the skull, and you just sort of grab it out of the air. You can feel some energy sort of reverberating in both of these things as they're held in your hand, and as soon as you hold on to that for a few seconds, it stops reverberating and the green eye slowly dims.
Wizard man, you doing all right?
Yes, if I can find him and send him on to where he belongs, not here to fester and rot and destroy, yes, I will be fine.
Insight check.
We will save that